good to see everyone at the World AI Show, and great to see everyone on the panel. We've got a very exciting discussion today. We were just having a side conversation earlier saying, you know, who was happy that AI came for various reasons, but the latest development in AI, this next wave that we're in, who's happy about that coming in and kind of quietening down the conversation on the previous topic, which was the metaverse. And I think a lot of us were kind of relieved with the change of topic. However, AI is actually going to be a great catalyst to really put meaning into the metaverse. And if we were to replay sort of the age of technology so far, we had the last significant change was social media and how it's come in and evolved everything. But if the mainstreaming of AI or the advanced stage that we're in now has come before metaverse, it would have made the metaverse a little bit more kind of acceptable by all the technologists and the non-skeptics. But we are happy that these two worlds are coming together. And you can imagine whether it's generative AI, whether it's all different topics of AI, that how it applies to this virtual world. And here today we have our esteemed panelists. Maybe before we start, we'll just do a quick intro on the backgrounds and how everyone's working with AI. So go ahead, Ali.
So I am Ali. I'm the group CIO of Depa United Group. I'm sure none of you heard about it because we are business to business, B2B. We do the interior of 5-star hotels. We consist of 4 groups, publicly listed in London, Singapore, and Nasdaq Dubai. We are more than 28 different subsidiaries. IT is centralized. We have 4 head offices. And we are the one who have done Burj Al Arab, Burj Khalifa, Atlantis, Flame Towers in Baku, Intercontinental, Fairmont, dadi. Yep. We have a group also of super yacht interiors and private jets interiors in Germany. And we have a group in Singapore and 2 groups in Dubai. That's enough, I think. Yeah.
Thank you. Alex?
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexander Kap. I'm founder of AIFB. It's AI for Business. We're doing development and consulting for companies, real estate, fintech, medical, how to implement AI in the company from the development side and from the business side. Also, before the AI, we did a lot of projects in the Metaverse. And today, like you said, it's kind of a bridge between the AI and the Metaverse, and it will give us more tools to be in the Metaverse in the future. That's what we are doing.
Excellent. Thank you. Dr. May?
Hi, everyone. My name is Barachi. I am the head of computer science and IT programs at University of Wollongong in Dubai. I'm an active researcher in the area of AI and emerging technologies. So our core business is education and preparing the future generation for the workforce and upskilling them. University of Wollongong has been in Dubai for 30 years. It's one of the oldest private universities in the country. We're proud to have graduated 14,000 graduates so far. I'm very excited to be here today.
Great, thank you. And just a brief intro. So I lead the technology at Aramex. You probably, if you're in the UAE or in the region, you've touched Aramex somehow. We were one of the first ones to pioneer AI in a sense of chatbots on your WhatsApp, but most, now we call it generative AI because we actually generate your addresses, your precise location from the wealth of data that we have as well. So we are on this stream as well. Thank you everyone for the introduction. So the first question we'll start is Ali. So we wanted to talk about the unique challenges of using AI in particular with when it comes to bridging the virtual and the real world. And what are the technological advances that are going to be used to address this?
Right. I mean, I want to start a bit different. Maybe all of us have seen the Apple Vision Pro recently. And on the commercial, I really realized one very interesting thing. Away from all the cameras and the sensor and the gyroscope and all these beautiful high tech, which is the focus on corporate. So we in the corporate, we are not IT, we are construction. What's matter to me is how I can utilize the technology in order to make money, in order to raise my revenue, my lower line, which is my profits. And it's make a big difference, because unless the metaverse or the technology or the AI really added value to me, I'm not going to really use it. It's like I don't use technology for the sake of using technology, and that's a really big difference. Now, if we go to the metaverse, we have in our corporate did 3 metaverses and 1 NFT, which is a little bit related. So we have 1 metaverse all the way in 2016. We have 1 group, as I said, which is for the super yacht interior back in Munich, in Germany. And we participated with this group in Monaco Boat Show and in Dubai Boat Show. And we want to showcase our all 3,500 projects, which is there in our Oracle database. We have a huge sort of data, but we want to bring it to the people who walk in our booth in the boat show. So we built using Unity engine, which is a gaming engine. We built a small metaverse, and we put Burj Khalifa, we put Atlantis, Burj Al Arab, Presidential Palace in Abu Dhabi, all the iconic projects that we have done, and we gave an experience to all our people or our visitors just to feel what is the capability of our group. That was the first one. And then recently, we thought in 2021, which is 2 years ago, we want to really make our visitors of our website really to visit our space instead of visiting our website. So we built using Microsoft technology, because we are a corporate, all our data is in the Active Directory. I try not to be jargon speaking, but yeah. So we build sort of a metaverse that shows all our iconic construction projects. So the visitors will go and walk around and see all these projects, have a feeling of it, whether it's Zoha Hadid infrastructure, it's airports, museums, whatever we have done all over the world. So we built something similar to a city where it has all bits and pieces from Singapore projects to UK projects, and we put them all together. And we built that private metaverse. Third experience was in our manufacturing. So we have 8 manufacturing, and they produce furnitures, FF&E, which is furnitures and fixtures. So we used to have catalogs. We used to have 2 dimensions on our websites, in our, as I said, in our online presence, where you can, flip across our furnitures, and you can see the spec of these furnitures, etc. So we built it 3D in the metaverse, and there is a kind of agent where it will explain to you, well, what is the material, what is the fabric, who is the designer behind this piece of furniture, where this piece of furniture is used, if it's allowed, because some of our customers want to keep the privacy. So these are the 3 metaverses that we had. One of them have won Dubai Metaverse Award. Now, the last one, which is a bit off, not related to metaverse, but since we are talking about it, and it's blockchain based, which is an NFT. So as a construction company, we are heavy based on labor and on staff. So almost 70%, sometimes 80% of our cost is labor. And always controlling the labor is a big challenge in construction. So if you can save 2% of the labor cost of productivity, if you can increase the productivity, that's millions of, sometimes dollars, sometimes millions of dirham. And we built on a blockchain, public permission blockchain, and access control for all our staff and labor with all their information. Now, when we talk about challenges, and I want to mention these examples because data privacy was a big challenge. When I'm talking about public blockchain, I have an NFT, which is my card. It has all my HR data. Some of the data is encrypted, hashed, and some of the data is public. But still, there is a lot of data in the public blockchain where any bad hackers can reach out to this data. And as a listed company, and as a company operate in Europe, so I have to be very careful about, for example, EU GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Even Saudi now is following the same. UAE is also. So I have to be careful about the PII, the personalized identifier information for all my staff. And I cannot really just go to a public blockchain and publish that. So that's one of the big challenges when it comes. Now, back to the metaverse, there are a lot of technical challenges, many technical challenges, to be honest. Latency is one of the challenges, processing power. These technologies very hungry for graphic cards and processing powers. Network latency is another troubles as an IT person. But away from the technical, storage is another problems. I took too much time, probably. Okay. But away from that, governance is a very big challenge. When we talk about the protocols that govern this, and what is allowed and what's not allowed, and how you can control this, this is always a challenge. Another thing is regulation. We don't want somebody like Gary Gensler later on after you build something and he comes and said, well, this is not allowed and this is prohibited due to whatever regulation. So all of those you have to consider before you put such investment for your
yeah, great examples. Thank you, Ali. I mean, we might have to chat a little bit more about your examples as well.
Sure.
Thanks for that. Next question is for you, May. So when we're looking to this exciting future that's happening with everything, bridging virtual and real, how do you see AI in particular reshaping the experience, the personalization part, the evolution with the metaverse?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So Metaverse is about the convergence of the physical and virtual worlds, right? And it is basically the natural evolution in computing where people will interact with digital content in 3D, right? So now, as AI continues to develop very quickly, it is expected that it will significantly shape the level of interaction and personalization in the Metaverse. There is plenty of aspects that if we use AI to power the metaverse would be possible. So I'll mention a few of them, just food for thought. So we can talk about intelligent avatar. Imagine if your avatar would understand your emotions, your gestures, anything that you say in natural language and give you a truly engaging and immersive experience. This is one aspect. The other aspect is adaptive environments. If we're able to track someone in the real life and understand what they like, what they don't like, their preferences, their habits, can we adapt the virtual world to suit their needs? Whether it's ambient temperature or lighting or the music they like or the activities they like to do, So this is another aspect that is quite interesting. Another thing that's important, of course, natural language processing will play a huge role in the metaverse because the genius part about these models now is that anyone can use these models in a very conversational and natural manner. You don't need to be a computer scientist anymore to use these language models, right? So the level of interaction will become so natural, so human-like, using these NLP capabilities. And we're talking about virtual assistants, right? I think you mentioned something like that. So can we have virtual assistants in the metaverse that assist users to do complex tasks or look at the places or guide them around? I don't know if you heard about these non-player characters that they're developing now. Non-player characters, if you are into gaming, they're just characters who are very boring. They stand there, they give you some scripted instructions, and they don't participate in the game. Now these NPC characters are powered by AI and have NLP capabilities. So they have unlimited interaction capabilities with us, and they can be our companions in this virtual world. One last point, I know the time is running, is about content creation and curation, right? So now that we move to generative AI that's actually able to generate things for us, this is huge because it's going to accelerate the building and scaling of virtual worlds in a very, efficient manner. So we can use these generative models to create digital assets, graphics, scripts. Even the coding of the characters and the avatars and so on can be, to a large degree outsourced to these models. So I think that combining that the combination of AI and Metaverse is a very potent mix that's going to lead to something extraordinary.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And then there's a lot of excitement happening with the convergence of these two worlds, but the one with this was what we call the super avatars that are coming up.
Yes.
I mean, imagine kind of setting up an avatar and downloading an avatar to mimic a certain scientist or somebody that's known in their field, and download all their text that they've generated.
Yes.
And now you've brought them back to life, kind of thing, right? So it's a very compelling view. So Alex, I mean, I want to build on this a little bit. What else do you see as additional exciting developments in this in AI Metaverse together? And then where do you see the next 5 to 10 years in this evolution?
First of all, just imagine that every one of you have your own avatar for any kind of task. For example, you want to make a meeting with people from the US, from Australia, from far away. You're sending your avatar that will do the meeting with all the necessary things. Without you, you will be on the beach, you will be everywhere. The avatar will close the deals. We'll sell them the contract, we'll speak with the other avatars, and you just lying down on the beach. It's amazing. I believe that that will happen. But I don't want to hear pessimistic. We need to implement regulations. And I think that we will speak about that after that.
Yeah.
But it's one part when you're going to the meeting. What about education? We have very far places that we can't get there. We can't educate people. But we will have avatars that will do that. What about tourism? If I want to, let's say, the Corona period, that everyone was closed at their homes. But if we will have our avatars that can fly to Dubai, to other places, showing us what we have there with glasses of Apple that they announced a few days ago, and you can feel, you can touch, you can speak. It's amazing, and it's a game changer that we will see, I believe, in about 5 years from now.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So, Alex, maybe we just continue to build on this and talk about the ethical implications with this. And what do we need to worry about? What do we need to establish now?
Just imagine that your avatar is going to a meeting, sitting a meeting, and he delivers more information that it should be to your clients, to third party, and you don't know that it's happened. That's the ethical and the regulation. I think that first of all, if we have regulation in our real life, real world, we need to implement regulation and rules in the virtual world. Because what will happen, we're seeing a week ago, it was a picture of explosion near the White House. What happens? The market going up and down. What happens? I'm always taking Tinder, the application, as an example. If there will be an avatar, and it might be a bit of fakes, it's not a real one, what will happen? What will happen if the avatar will tell lies and not true things? So the ethical thing and the regulation must be in the next few months, because we can lose it. And already something we're losing in the AI field.
I would like to comment.
Sure.
I know there is no time. But now, even now, with the existing technology, you can have a smart contract, and you can put certain level of rules that govern how this technology or how this avatar gonna act. The problem is there is no standard established. So when you build something or you build an avatar over, let's say, Microsoft Metaverse, this avatar and this investment is limited to this environment. It's limited to this platform. And it's not what they call it, the probability, that I cannot take this avatar and move it to, for example, AWS, or move it to Roblox, or move it to the Fortnite, which is the other platforms. And unless this is broken, I think we are still limited. You know, we know all Nike is investing on this, Adidas is investing, but each one, it's like we are similar to early 2000, when there is hundreds of emails providers, but who's gonna be the next Google or the next Gmail? We don't know. But I think what Alex have just mentioned, maybe within coming years, one of those existing players will be setting the standards across the industry, and everybody else will invest on the ecosystem of that big giant.
But you don't think that the AI will be the bridge between metaverses?
I hope so. I hope so. Now, I think in 2021 there were a marriage happened between a French guy and a Portuguese in the Decentraland Metaverse, and I think Gulf News have wrote about this, and this all of us know it, but maybe what not all of us know, that 40% of the attendance was was an artificial intelligence. They are not real people. There is avatars of existing artificial intelligence avatars in the Decentraland environment. So I agree with you.
Maybe they divorced after that. Nobody knows.
But I think what's exciting, what May has mentioned, is these NPCs have been boring, right? So imagine, just the value add of AI igniting this NPC behavior, which it needs a little bit of governance to make it predictable and not go completely off script, whether it's a game or a world or something. But that's a huge, possibility on its own, right? So that wedding will have people, avatars maybe decide to dance if they want, if they want to dance.
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, one more thing. Besides the government that should regulate it, I think that all of us and each of us should regulate and should put borders on his avatars and what he will do in each cases.
Absolutely. So we're just going to do one last quick question and maybe have 5 minutes if you guys have any questions. But maybe we want to talk about as the worlds are bridging, but what do you see as the challenges to accessibility and making it available, making it accessible to everyone, regardless of where they are, who they are?
I think to achieve accessibility and opportunities for people to be part of this ecosystem, we need to do concerted efforts in multiple directions or dimensions. One of them is, of course, connectivity, right, and infrastructure. So we want to make sure that we improve and build the right infrastructure for internet access for underserved communities so that they can even access these systems. This is critical, and it's not for granted. There's many places who don't have access to internet, or it's very, weak and so on. The second point, which is very important, I think, is affordability, right? It's not enough to build the infrastructure and provide the service. Are people able to afford it? So we need to reduce the prices of access to the internet connectivity, but also to the equipment and tools and technologies that make people part of this ecosystem. A third point, I think, is definitely education and digital skills, right? By providing the right education and training to people, they have the right skills to be participants, active participants, not just sitting back and relaxing. And then you have the aspect of inclusion and diversity, which is interesting. So inclusion is you want to be inclusive and offer this ecosystem to everybody. Let's say someone with disability or doesn't understand the language or is not tech savvy. Why should they be excluded, right? Diversity is more about the society around us is very diverse, right? People with different cultures, different languages, different backgrounds. Why should the virtual world be any different? It should mimic or mirror the real world to have representation for everybody. Yeah? And then, the last point, which is very important, I think, is digital rights and privacy. We touched slightly upon it. So, the problem is technology is evolving so rapidly that it's outpacing regulation. Yep. Regulation is usually lagging behind, So we should immediately have the right regulations and rules to, protect digital rights and privacy to make sure that there is no abuse or discrimination in the virtual world as well.
Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good point. So we have approximately 5 minutes left. If there's any questions from the audience, we're happy to help. Oh, great to see some hands. I don't know if we get a mic over there, please.
Maybe someone have suggestions for regulations.
Yep.
It's
Just in the back, please. Yep.
The 5 minutes is
just
gone.
bring the mic. Quick. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
There's a gentleman that will start.
I think they treat me like the ChatGPT. I have only 3 time to ask questions, and then that's it. So, as you mentioned, I think you touched a couple of things regarding regulations and the freedom access. I agree with that. I feel that the metaverses will be that canvas that with AI you can draw whatever you want, your imagination, your creativity. Now, one of the things that I'm worried about is that the abuse of that, especially for children. I've seen cases that there is abuse, there is no regulation, as I mentioned, there is no control, and as well as also what you mentioned regarding the content. I agree, the copyrights, this is one. And people are starting to buy and sell like a real estate in the metaverse. So that's going to impact. However, my concern is more on the psychological point of view. People, when they attach to something, especially with the metaverse, when it gives them all opportunities, there will be maybe detachment from the real life. So how you address that, how we can prepare ourselves. I'm not sure if you can cover that. Thank you for your time.
Anybody would like to try?
I think that mostly we should regulate it for kids, for children. Because, and let's say like we have movies above 18, the same one we should do in the metaverse, in AI. That, for example, children under 15 or 12 can't use games or metaverses because it will break their brain, okay? And it will affect on their psychology, for sure. And we have like researchers that approve that. So it just should be regulation from the above, directly rules, strictly rules, and that is the reason, the only way here.
Agreed.
I think there were AI before ChatGPT launched by Microsoft for 18 hours, only 18 hours. And then Microsoft killed that AI because it started tweeting a very racist tweets and Nazis political tweets. And Microsoft shut it down right away after 18 hours. It's called Tay. And it is dangerous, yes. But keep in mind, like, it's not for this generation, because we are talking about generation probably Z, and those guys who attended like Travis Scott, 45 million human being, attended one performance of the rapper. And if you imagine the number, 45 million, it's more than Canada, it's more than Saudi Arabia. And physically, you cannot make a concert or you cannot make a performance and gather full country to attend one performance. So it has a huge potential going forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Just a quick segue. So I think we have to really think about the metaverse as a parallel world. Everything that happens in the real world, bad or abuse, can happen there, but it's exaggerated by the aspect of anonymity and you don't know who the person is and so on. So definitely all the rules that we have to be mimicked here, but then we have to consider other scenarios where someone is impersonating someone else or whatever, right? So we're with you on that.
Okay. Thank you.
There was
time
a
for one more
gentleman
question.
here,
There's
yeah.
a gentleman there. Yeah. You have the microphone, or? It's
Go ahead.
shout-
go.
shout-
you can
out.
try.
Oh.
The price that companies paid for access to the internet, for access to a global audience, was, the risk, which is more than a risk, is an actuality now, right? Of being hacked, of being subject to hacking perpetually. And this is probably a bigger issue than people let on, because no company wants to announce, for multiple reasons, regulatory and otherwise, that they've been hacked, ransomware, all of that stuff. So the true extent of the problem is probably still unknown, but it is a massive problem, right? I mean, just yesterday we heard someone in the audience saying how he spends, I think, 20 million, a $2 billion company spends about $200 million on cybersecurity alone and still gets hacked periodically. Now, my question was in the metaverse, right? Since you're going to have to, I loved your example, Alex, about sending your avatars for negotiations. But the problem with that is you have to then brief your avatar on all of the positions, all of the negotiating positions, all of the information, and then structure it so that fallback positions and all of that stuff, right? So he knows what his last position is, but he can't open with that.
And
right?
those are rules, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right? So now the problem is, can you hack that avatar, right? I guess overall the question is the metaverse more susceptible to hacking than the internet? And if so, that just makes the metaverse a fundamentally problematic place to be in right off the bat for anything serious. Obviously for gaming it's fantastic, but for anything serious, and that will limit the use cases going forward.
Can I take this?
Sure.
So Metaverse has two different families. There is the old-fashioned Metaverse, like Roblox, like Fortnite. Those are just organic growth of the 2D and the graphic enhancement in technologies. So it's centralized, it's in a server, it's owned by one company, like Google, like all these big players. That's hackable because, okay, they invest in security, it's just a matter of time. All of our organization is under an attack, right? But there is another type of metaverse, which is a decentralized metaverse, which is built on the infrastructure of blockchain or this distributed ledger, where I have my metaverse not in my server. It could exist in thousands of servers all over the world. So by having decentralized metaverses, hacking it will be more difficult because I have to hack all these servers around the world on the same time without letting them rebuilding themselves. Like the same concept of blockchain, the decentralized ledger. This type of metaverses are more immune against hacking and against security threat. Still, it's possible, I'm not saying, but there is other type of security. Maybe my colleague can. There are different type of security inside the metaverse where we have a poison context that can be distributed, right? But not hacking. Right? Hacking will be more difficult because the concept or the architecture of distributing servers or infrastructure. Right?
I agree with you. And I think that in the metaverse, you will be able to build different layers. So those layers will split between you and the avatars and some other things in the metaverse. Besides that, you can build a lot of avatars, okay, like you, but nobody knows which one is your avatar. So you can manipulate in the future with many, many, many avatars and confuse other people. It's for a good and a bad ways, okay? But it for sure will be more secured than regular internet.
Right.
I think it goes back to what May was saying, is that all of our real problems will apply there. So impersonating somebody, you can do it today physically. You could do it in the metaverse as well. And last thing on security, it's always going to be a constant challenge regardless of the technology. We are all worried about our own sort of company's security because there's always going to be the human factor. And there's always going to be the advanced, the rapid pace of technology that's evolving in the counter direction that we're going. So the forces of evil versus the force of good utilizing the same computing power in the world, right? So it's an ongoing struggle. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much, esteemed panel. I enjoyed that personally. I don't know about you. I hope you guys found a lot of value in this discussion and hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.